Walk into any busy office during a real crisis and count how many different experiences are happening inside the exact same emergency. Some people's hands are shaking. Some are yelling into phones. Some have gone completely blank, unable to think clearly at all. And then there's always one person, sitting exactly where they always sit, moving at the exact same pace they always move, quietly getting things done while everyone else spins around them. Not because the crisis doesn't affect them. Because somewhere along the way, they learned how to stay steady inside chaos instead of quietly becoming part of it. That person isn't ignoring what's happening around them. They can hear the noise just as clearly as everyone else in the room. Phones ringing, people panicking, deadlines colliding into each other all at once, none of it skips them. But somewhere between their ears and their reaction, there's a small gap most people simply don't have, a pause where the chaos arrives and doesn't automatically become their own internal chaos too. That gap isn't a personality trait some people are lucky enough to be born with. It's a skill, quietly built over years, one deliberate breath at a time. The world you live in was never designed to let you feel calm. Every app, every notification, every headline is built by people whose entire job is capturing your attention and never fully giving it back to you. Your phone buzzes 40, 50, sometimes over 100 times a day, and each buzz is a tiny demand: look here now, react to this now, decide something now, immediately. Multiply that by every single day for years, and you get a nervous system that has genuinely forgotten what quiet even feels like, one that treats stillness itself as strange instead of natural. Try sitting completely still for 2 full minutes with nothing to look at, nothing to scroll, nothing to check on your phone. Notice how quickly your mind starts begging for stimulation of any kind. That discomfort isn't random or a sign something's wrong with you. It's withdrawal. Your attention has been trained for years to expect constant input, and the moment that input stops, your nervous system reads the silence itself as a problem needing to be solved immediately. Most people respond by reaching for their phone within seconds, reinforcing the exact pattern that made calm feel unreachable in the first place. Think about the ocean during a violent storm. On the surface, everything is chaos, waves crashing, wind tearing across the water in every direction as far as you can possibly see. But dive down even 30 or 40 feet, and something strange happens almost immediately. The water goes still. Completely calm, almost silent, as if the storm above never existed at all in the first place. The ocean doesn't stop the storm from happening up there. It simply has a depth the storm can never reach. And that's exactly what a genuinely calm mind actually is underneath everything else. Most people live their entire lives right on the surface of their own mind, exactly where every single wave hits directly, every notification, every argument, every piece of bad news landing at full force with absolutely nothing to soften it first. They've never actually built the depth underneath that surface. So when the real storm finally arrives, and it always eventually does arrive, there's nowhere calmer inside them to retreat to. Learning real calm isn't about controlling the waves happening outside you. It's about slowly building a depth inside you that those waves simply can't reach anymore. Think of an air traffic controller sitting in a dark room, dozens of blinking lights on a screen representing planes only minutes away from crossing paths dangerously in the sky above. Outside that room, this would be described honestly as sheer terror. Inside it, the controller's voice stays completely level, almost bored sounding, issuing instruction after instruction without a single wasted word or moment of hesitation. Not because the stakes aren't painfully real. They understand the stakes better than almost anyone else in that building. But years of deliberate training taught their nervous system something most people never learn in a lifetime. That calm doesn't switch off the moment they leave the building either, once their shift finally ends for the day. It becomes how they move through ordinary life too: arguments at home, traffic on the drive back, bad news delivered unexpectedly over the phone at dinner. Because calm, once it's actually trained rather than simply performed for an audience, doesn't stay locked inside one specific room or one specific job. It becomes a baseline the entire nervous system starts operating from constantly. That's the real goal hiding here. Not performing calm during one important moment, but building it as your default. There's a real biological reason some people can drop into calm almost instantly, while others stay wound up and tense for hours afterward. Your body has two competing systems running constantly, one that gears you up for danger, and one that brings you back down safely afterward, largely controlled by something called the vagus nerve, running from your brain down through your chest. People with a strong, well-trained vagal response can shift out of stress remarkably quickly, almost like flipping a switch instantly. People who've never trained that system stay stuck in high alert long after the actual danger has already passed completely. The good news is that exact response is genuinely trainable, and one of the simplest ways to train it is something almost embarrassingly basic: slow, controlled breathing, especially longer exhales than inhales every single time. Every time you breathe out slowly on purpose, you're directly signaling your nervous system that you're actually safe right now, in this exact moment. Doing that consistently, over weeks and months of repetition, actually raises what researchers call vagal tone, meaning your body gets faster and better at returning to calm after any stress. This isn't a mindset trick. It's closer to physical therapy for calm itself. Without that training, ordinary everyday pressure starts to feel completely unbearable far too often. A slightly tense meeting, a delayed response from someone you care deeply about, a minor disagreement over nothing important, and your entire system floods with the same intensity it would use for an actual life-threatening emergency happening right now. You snap at people you love for no real reason. You make decisions from panic instead of clarity. And afterward, you're left wondering why something so genuinely small felt so enormous while it was actually happening to you in that specific moment. But someone who has quietly built this over time, without anyone around them even noticing the process, becomes something genuinely rare in every single room they walk into. When everyone else is spiraling completely out of control, they become the anchor people instinctively gravitate toward without even realizing why. Not because they have all the answers to every problem. Because their steadiness is contagious in a way panic simply never is, ever. People calm down slightly just standing near them. That's not charisma in the traditional sense. That's a nervous system trained deliberately to hold its center regardless of what's happening around it. So how do you actually build this for yourself, starting today? You start absurdly small, before you even reach for your phone first thing in the morning, before the day's very first demand arrives at your door. You sit for 60 seconds and simply breathe, slow inhale, longer exhale, nothing else required of you at all. It will feel completely unproductive at first. It will feel like wasted time you don't have to spare. Do it anyway, because that 60 seconds is training the exact system responsible for how you'll handle everything else that happens for the rest of your entire day. Then extend that same principle slowly throughout the rest of your day, in small deliberate ways. Put your phone in another room during meals with people you care about. Take one walk without headphones, letting your mind actually go quiet instead of filling every single gap with more input. Finish one task completely before opening another tab or starting something new. None of these individual actions look impressive, and none of them will ever trend online for anyone to see. But each one is a small deposit into the same depth we've been talking about this entire time. Picture a lighthouse standing firmly on rock during the worst storm of the entire year, waves slamming against it violently from every possible direction, wind strong enough to knock down anything not properly anchored to the ground beneath it. And yet the lighthouse simply doesn't move an inch. Not because the storm is somehow gentle with it out of mercy. Because its foundation was built deep enough, long before the storm ever arrived that night, to hold completely steady regardless of what the weather decided to do. That's what you're actually building every time you choose stillness over stimulation. So the next time the world speeds up violently around you, notifications stacking endlessly, deadlines colliding into each other, everyone else spinning at full volume around you constantly, remember you don't have to match that exact speed just because it's demanding you to right now. You can be the person sitting exactly where you always sit, breathing at the exact same pace you always breathe, quietly getting through it while everyone else spins uncontrollably. That calm isn't luck, and it was never some rare personality type. It's a depth you build one breath at a time, starting right now, today.